Good morning, everybody. I wanted to pop on here this morning. I just read, not really an article, but a post in Facebook, and it indicates that this is Suicide Prevention Month, which I didn't know. I wasn't aware of that. And along there, apparently they did a poll. There was a Harris poll. It was conducted, a national poll, a survey on behalf of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and National Action Alliance for Suicide Prevention. And it says the results show us that now more than ever, the public wants to play an active role in suicide prevention. And they just basically have a banner, and it says 94% of Americans think suicide is preventable. Now, I thought this was kind of interesting. I don't know actually the questions of the poll or what was asked in this poll and what this really means. As far as 94% of Americans think suicide is preventable. Does that mean that they think it's, an easy fix, or it's just kind of something we can fix with a pill or something like that? Because I know in the society that happens a lot. We think that diseases can just be fixed with a pill. We want these quick fixes for things, even our medical physical diseases. So and I don't know if it's that, or people actually, 94% of people think they have an idea of what it is and how it can be prevented. And the problem with that is, I think, is with mental illness. And I wanted to bring this up too because a friend of mine mentioned this to me in a private post recently. She said that what I'm doing here is very helpful, and people can benefit from it. And she mentioned something that was very sobering to me, is that I could actually save lives, because there could be people on here that are really deep depression and really need professional help. So I've been thinking about that, and then this poll that I just saw pop up this morning really kind of made me want to launch off and talk about this, because it's so very important. So yeah, with the poll, I question if someone hasn't been and doesn't have mental illness, or hasn't had mental illness, or in a really bad state, there's no way they can even comprehend how bad it can be. There's no way they can understand. They can empathize, sure. You can empathize, and say, I feel bad for that person, kind of thing. Sort of like, with someone with, cancer or a devastating disease. You have no idea what they're feeling. You have no idea what they're going through. You can empathize and try to help them, kind of thing. But it's such a dark place to be in for people, and I can relate. And I just wanted to share a story, because I can relate to this suicide thing. When I was in my teens, I considered suicide. I remember, I'll just kind of share the background. I remember being in my teens, high school, and I was in a place where I had no friends, I had no social interactions. I would come home and there was no escape there, because my mother was an alcoholic, and she would abuse me physically and mentally, and there was just no escape. There was just like this dark pit of a hole where you just couldn't get out of. And the most difficult part was actually being in a social crowd, and being in school and being in social situations, and you'd be surrounded by people, but yet I just remember, and I had to think back about this because this was so long ago, but I would just feel so alone and empty and afraid and self-conscious of people, what were people thinking about me, and what were people, saying about me, or I just didn't feel connected with anybody in the world at all. And to be in that situation is just so horrible. I still, it was just horrible. So at that point in my life, I got to the point where it's like, I started thinking, I never planned it. I never actually planned out a suicide, but I felt like, why am I here? Life would be better without me, kind of thing. There's no point in me being here. I don't provide any benefit for anybody. Nobody loves me. That type of thing, and that can just be so devastating for people. And where I'm going with this, I guess, is at that time, I just want to emphasize that it's so important for, if people are in that state, to seek out help. And I didn't at that time. And I think because, and I've thought about why I didn't, because in hindsight, I should have. And I definitely would have benefited and probably come out of it a lot earlier. It's taken me, Jesus, 25 years or so probably to just kind of slowly crawl out of that lowest point in my life, and I'm not special in any way. I guess I'm stubborn as all hell, and I was a survivor. I guess that's probably the thing about me. And I was curious about things too, so I'd always investigate things. But anyway, this isn't about me. What I want to bring the point is, it's so important for people to, if you are in that state, is to seek help. And I'm actually going to list some resources as part of this video. It's easy enough for us to kind of go out and find things online and things, but when you're in such a state like that, you just don't feel like moving. You don't feel like doing anything. You just you don't have any energy. You're just sapped, and it's horrible. So I'll provide that for anybody who might need it. But so getting back to, I know I'm spinning here, but getting back to why I don't think I actually went out and seeked or looked for help was, I was functioning. I've heard the term functioning alcoholic before. Like, my mom was a functioning alcoholic. She was out in the public, she was fine, everything was great, but then when she got home, that's when her disease kicked in. And I think I had the same thing with my depression and my anxiety and all the issues that I had, because when I was out in public with people, I wouldn't say I was fine and happy-go-lucky. I was always kind of a recluse kind of thing, but I don't think I displayed the signs of someone that has mental illness. I was a functioning mental illness person. I don't know how you say it, but it's when I got home, or when I got into my safe place, that's when I would really go into a really deep depression kind of thing. So anyway, so there are people out there, maybe, who are like that, and I just kind of wanted to bring an awareness to people who don't necessarily have mental illness, like really, really difficult mental illness, of how difficult it is, and how devastating it is to be in life. It's no different than a physical illness. It really, really isn't. And you can bring yourself out of it, but I don't. If you're that low and you're that type of situation, get help. It's really important to get help, because people can help you. Why struggle through this alone? So what else I want to say here? So that was the thing. Oh yeah, and the help that I'm offering right now is, I'm in a state where I still have mental illness, but it's not debilitating like it was when I was younger. I've gotten to a point where I've been able to manage it, and I've fought those battles, and I still have negative thoughts in my head constantly about I'm no good, and I'm not that that great, and even when I make accomplishments and things like that, but they're nowhere near as bad when I was younger, and when I probably needed the professional help kind of thing. So a lot of what I'm offering now is to people is I'm trying to help people who are in a relatively functioning state, a functioning state basically, and just have some issues with maybe their self-esteem and things like that, but they're functioning, their lives are relatively well. I can't help someone who is in a really, really low mental state, who's in severe depression. I can empathize, I can share my story, maybe that's helpful, but I'm not professional help. And I just wanted to kind of get that out there because I've read some posts of I've looked at some posts of some other groups, and this one called PTSD and depression and anxiety, and just some of the things I've seen on there. It's like these people, and they're just so low. Their lives are horrible, and they're trying to commit suicide. And this one I just read this morning about a lady who thinks she has the right to die, and yeah, she has the right to commit suicide because her life is so horrible. It's like, what do you say to that? And I so much want to reach out to someone like that and just say, I don't know, just there's help, or there's people that care, but I don't know. I'm just kind of going in circular motion now about this, but that's basic. I guess the main point is I wanted to emphasize that people who are in that state, who are really, really low emotionally, who are in a depression, who are in severe anxiety, get help. Really get help. I didn't when I was younger because I just didn't, but I should have. I really should have. It would have helped me tremendously in my life. It would have probably taken me 30 years or 25 years to kind of crawl out of it. And I'm lucky I did probably crawl out of it, because I could have ended up dead. I really could have. Thinking back at it, So that's just kind of wanted to share this morning, because I thought it was a really important topic, because like I said, I saw that post, National Suicide Prevention, and also a friend of mine mentioned that gave me an awareness of people on here might be in a state like that, and I don't want them. I want them to seek professional help. Okay, and if anybody wants to talk to me offline, or text me or email or call me, whatever, and it would be helpful for you to hear my story, or or what I went through, and that kind of thing. Please reach out to me, and I'd be happy to help you. Okay. So with that, I hope you guys have a great day. It is actually let me kind of get into a better state here. So yeah, everybody, hope you have a nice day, and again, okay, bye-bye.